In our previous episodes, we have already started Kafka connector sync and the source, right? In a nutshell, source is where you read the data. It could be a relational database, Elasticsearch, HDFS, or any other source of data. And the sync is where you write that data, right? Again, it could be the same. It could be you can write from the MySQL and write that data to the Elasticsearch and vice versa. So in this case, in our scenario, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to start JDBC connector. What is JDBC connector is? So we are going to read from the MySQL database and write that data to the Kafka. So again, here what we do, right? So we're again starting, as in previous episodes, we are starting a standalone worker. And in the standalone worker, in our case, we are going to start, let's go to our config, and we are going to use this my config source properties, right? So what we have here, our connect standalone properties is the same. Nothing has changed here since the previous episode, but for the my connect MySQL source properties, right? Again, we are giving a name for it and the connector class where we are going to take that class, right? So again, it's not provided out of the box in Kafka, so we need to download. And in previous episode, I already downloaded for the connector, for the file plugin, for the file connector, and for the JDBC, we need to download two jars, right? One is Kafka Connect, another one is the MySQL connector. So that's it. That's all we need to start our JDBC connector. And again, the number of the tasks in our case, to prove the point, we are only starting one task, but we can parallelize it. And also we need to connect to the database, right? In our case, as I said, we are using a MySQL database. For the MySQL database, how to connect to the MySQL database, user, and the password that we are using here, right? So, but the most important part is this one, right? How we are going to capture the data. So we are going to capture the data in two modes, right? So we both want to capture the inserts and the updates. So for example, in this case, we are capturing the name, right? For the ID is, we are using the ID column. We are using the capture the data that is, as we are using to capture the data that is added to the database. And for the modified, we are using a column that is last modified for the modified data, right? So in this mode, we are using the increment will capture the inserts, and the timestamp will capture the updates. So, and the next one is also we need to define the table, right? The table that we are going to use here. So which table our Kafka connector should monitor. It will monitor, in our case, we have only one table. It will monitor the users table, and also to which topic it will going to write that data. It's going to use the MySQL-users topic. It's very convenient if you have a lot of connectors and you don't know which connector is publishing to which topic. So you can always say that, okay, this is coming from the MySQL, and as a prefix, and the table name, right? In our case, the topic will be MySQL and the users. And also, this is the interval that we want. This is the interval that we want our connector to query our database, right? To monitor our database for new entries. That's it. That's all we need, right? We need the standalone properties, and we need the Kafka Connect properties. So that's all we need. Now we can go and start our connector. So in our connector, what we have here, we have again running the shell script for starting our standalone worker, and we are providing, not this one, but this one. So we are here providing a standalone shell script, and we are providing a config file, and for this standalone worker, and we are also providing the connector, in our case JDBC connector properties. Okay, let's start it. Okay, as you can see here, it's running. So our connector is running. And also what I have created here, I have created so I have created a consumer that consumes from MySQL users table, right? So whatever in the MySQL users table, it has already been published to Kafka, and from Kafka we have consumed that. Let's go to our MySQL database. So I have here the MySQL database, so I have here the UI for it. So let's go to our table, right? So if we query our table, as you can see here, we have indeed 2 entries, right? Alice and Orkan that has been published to the Kafka topic, and from here we have consumed that message. So let's do one more, right? Let's do 2 operations and indeed make sure that those have been published to Kafka. So let's first insert two users. Let's say that the Mike and Jack, we are inserting to our users table. Let's run this, and it's successfully run. So now it should be, as you can see here in real time, right? This we have added 2 entries to the database, and the connector is monitoring the database, and it says that okay, 2 entries have been added. It immediately publishes those to Kafka, and from Kafka we are consuming here. This is the part when we are inserting the data, right? Now let's go our database. By the way, check that the data is indeed added to database. So yes, it's added. We have added 2 more entries, and now let's go run the other one, right? We are running first. We run the insert. Now let's run the update. Let's say that for the user Orkan, we want to update an email, right? So we are updating an email, and we are updating email to Orkan a new email, right? Let's say that the Orkan's new email, and where the ID is equals to 2, ID is equals to 2. Okay, let's run it again. Let's run this query. So again, this query is we have updated, and as you can see here, we have a new entry here, right? We have a new entry that has captured also the change in the database.